We are honored by the fact that the United States of America has chosen our state of Illinois and our county of St. Clair to have Scott Air Force Base for many, many years. It's a very, very important part of our military effort, and we thank all of those who are in this county and in the Metro East who support Scott. We know how important the mission of Scott Air Force Base is to our state of Illinois, all the economic activity, but most importantly, defending our country and making sure that democracy is alive and well everywhere in our world. And I think it's very, very important that we understand that those who serve our country and wear the uniform of our country, who are volunteers, who answer the call to duty, go forward oftentimes in very dangerous circumstances, their families and their children are entitled to a world-class education. And it's very important as our state carries out its mission of education that we always make accommodations and adjustments for our military children who may be coming from another state to a new school, and there are things that they hope to have with respect to their advanced placement courses or their extracurriculars or their grades that are coming from another school district. All these details, there's literally dozens and dozens of details when a family moves from one state to our state. It's very, very important we make proper adjustments to make sure our military children are treated properly, that they get a fair chance, whether it's going out for a team, whether it is getting the opportunity to take a course that they couldn't take elsewhere. We have to make adjustments for kids who are coming from other places and are part of a family that is serving our country, and that's why we set up a couple of years ago, I signed the bill over at Scott Air Force Base, a military compact. We joined the military compact, the state of Illinois, and part of the job of Lieutenant Governor is to work with our military folks all across Illinois, not only here, but up in Rock Island at the Rock Island Arsenal, where I was nearby just a few minutes ago. And then also we have Great Lakes Naval Training Center in our state, the place where all of our sailors are trained for the United States Navy. So it's important when we have our military families coming to our state with their children that they get all the things they're entitled to with respect to this mission of a lifetime. And I wanted to come here to sign the bill. We have a number of dignitaries I want to have come forward to speak. I do want to bring forward our Lieutenant Governor, Sheila Simon, who worked very closely with the sponsors of the bill, have her talk about how important this mission is. There was a saying of Abraham Lincoln a long time ago that the duty of all of us on the home front is to take good care of those who bear the battle. And I want to thank all of those who are wearing the uniform of our country for your service to our country. And we owe you a permanent debt of gratitude for your ethic of service, for your willingness to volunteer, and to make sure that we, the people here in Illinois, take good care of your family with respect to their education. So Sheila, why don't you come forward and say a few words about this bill.
Thank you, Governor, and really thank you for your leadership. It was your leadership as Lieutenant Governor that got us first into the compact, and now we're able to follow up and do some fine-tuning, complete the work, and it really makes a big difference. Jerry Costello's here too. Thank you for your work. There's all sorts of people to thank here. My staff, the governor's staff, Representative Jackson and Senator Bush, who both did a fantastic job. But really what we're all about is saying military families, not just the active service member, but families are strong for our country. Our state is now saying when the governor's signing this legislation, we are strong for those families. It makes a difference for the families. It makes a difference for jobs in the state of Illinois. We want to retain every job that we have at the military bases here and look for ways to expand. And it is a joyous thing to be here today, particularly to be here with Michaela and Abby, who Michaela is a student here at MASCOUTAH High School, and like many military kids, she has been to 9 different schools.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. And thanks to the folks here who work and make it happen, she was able to audition for the show choir and get in, even though she wasn't here at the beginning of the year. I want to make sure that all the the Michaelas and Abbeys around the state are treated well, and this bill says we're committed to doing that. So thank you, Governor. Thank you, everyone.
Well said. Thank you very much for your hard work, Sheila. Very, very important. And I think it is important to hear from the sponsors of the bill. I mentioned a moment ago Great Lakes Naval Training Center in our state in Lake County, and we have someone who has driven all the way from Lake County to right here in St. Clair County. She gets the award for coming longest distance today. Thank you very much, Senator Melinda Bush. My dad was in the United States Navy for 3 years, 1 month, and 15 days. He served in World War II. He was on an aircraft carrier. We treasure Great Lakes Naval Training Center, just like we treasure the Scott Air Force Base and Rock Island Arsenal. So without further ado, the chief sponsor of the bill in the Senate, and that's Senator Melinda Bush. Come on forward, Melinda. Thank you. Very good.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much for the award for the longest distance. But I can tell you, I'm thrilled to have carried this bill. It's so important for Illinois families, so important for the state of Illinois, for members of the military to know how important you are to us, and that we understand that moving your children across the United States should not be difficult. We should do everything that we can to make it easier for you, to make sure that children like these have the same opportunities no matter where they move. And I talked to a young woman yesterday who talked about moving nearly 20 times before she moved out on her own, and she ended up repeating the 3rd grade, being held back another time because things didn't line up. That shouldn't happen to these children. And we want you to know how important it is to the state of Illinois that military families matter to us, and I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you so much. And I really want to thank the governor and the lieutenant governor for their leadership, because this bill has been worked on for quite some time. There are a lot of details to be worked out, and I'm looking at some of the staff members in Springfield that I know worked so hard on this bill, so I want to thank them for the work that they did to make this possible. And again, thank the governor and the lieutenant governor for their leadership. It's so important that military families know that in Illinois we care about you. So thank you so much.
Well said. And thank you to Lake County for its hospitality to Great Lakes Naval Training Center. And a long time ago, 41 years ago, I lived in St. Clair County in East St. Louis at 704 North 76th Street. And we have a representative in the legislature from East St. Louis and from this district who sponsored this bill in the House. He knows how to get bills passed, especially important bills like this, and that's Eddie Lee Jackson. Come on forward, Eddie. I want to hear from you and say a few words as well.
Thank you, Governor. House Bill 3939 was an initiative of the Lieutenant Governor to provide a smooth transition for military students that move from one school to the next. This was accomplished by amending, clarifying, and extending the Illinois Education Opportunity Military Children Act of 2010. That's when it was first passed. This is a commitment to military students to remove all educational barriers for military families that are moving from one location to the next. And I think this is an excellent beginning, and thank you.
All right, well said, Eddie. Thank you for getting the job done. And we're honored today by the presence of the base commander of Scott Air Force Base, Colonel Kyle Kramer, and his wife is here, Deb, as well as their 2 daughters, and that's Michaela and Abby. And Colonel, do you think you could come forward and say a few words on behalf of Scott and the importance of this bill? Your daughter, it was just mentioned, has been to 9 different schools, and it's important to speak out about this issue for everybody. Take it from there.
Thank you, Governor. Well, we certainly do, on behalf of my fellow commanders up at Rock Island and Great Lakes Naval Station. This is a huge help for our military families, because when military members are reassigned, we go home, we tell our spouses, okay, we got a new assignment, we're going somewhere. The very first question they ask is, what are the schools like there? The second question is about what's housing like there. It's the quality of life and how we take care of our families that's really at the issue. As military members, we're there to defend the Constitution of the United States, and we salute smartly, and we will go wherever. The families come along by choice in that they're not on contract. So when we have provisions like this and the great efforts that you, the Lieutenant Governor, and the legislature have put forward to secure that, facilitate a smooth transition for our families and our children so they can continue to develop at grade level to move on to higher education opportunities and secure that for them is a great benefit to us, and we thank you greatly for that.
Thank you very much for your service. Really, I also want to acknowledge the presence of Colonel Sean Campbell from Scott Air Force Base as well. I went to a military wake this week. We lost a young service member from Mokina, Illinois. He was 19 years old. He was killed in Afghanistan. And when you thought about it, when I was talking to his mom and his sisters, he was 6 years old in 2001 on September 11th. 6 years old. He was in first grade, and he gave his life for our country. And I said at that gathering at wake, there's a passage from the Old Testament about Isaiah said it, and he talked about oaks of righteousness. And I think all of our service members are oaks of righteousness. They volunteer for the hardest things imaginable. They say, "Here I am, take me." And I want to thank our service members, all those who serve at Scott, for their devotion to our country and their patriotism. It's important to recognize that. And I also want to recognize the county board chairman here, Mark Kern, a good man indeed, chairman of the county board. Has been working on this issue for a long time. Thank you, Mark, for being here as well. So we have a lot of county officials. I know Mike Costello is here, recorder of deeds, and Brendan Kelly, our state's attorney, and our county clerk, Tom Holbrook. You know, in St. Clair County, here's some importance happening. They can turn out. The government turns out. So I'm glad to see that. And our mayors, Mark Eckert, the mayor of Belleville, and also Jerry Doherty, the mayor of Mascouta. I told Jerry that Mascouta's gotten a lot bigger since I lived down this way 4 decades ago. And we want to make sure, as folks who serve at Scott and have maybe homes in Mascouta or O'Fallon or anywhere else, that we make sure we make the accommodations for them. He couldn't join us today, our Congressman Bill Enyard, but his Chief of Staff, Kevin Kern, is here. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the presence of a congressman who fought as hard as one could fight for to make sure that we help Scott in every way possible and help this whole region, including building a bridge across the Mississippi River. And I want to thank Jerry Costello for coming here. It's the Stan Musial Veterans Memorial Bridge. And we were there on a very cold day in February. The shortest political speeches, Colonel, you ever will want to hear on that cold day. But we got the job done. And so people are going to have a bridge that lasts long after we pass on. And I want to thank Jerry for everything he did for this district. He really was the man for all seasons. And Mike Baker, the county board member from Mascouta, is here. Thank you, Mike. And also the superintendent of the regional superintendent, Susan Sarfati. Thank you for coming. And Craig Fiegel, Dr. Craig Fiegel, who is the superintendent of this school district, number 19. So I also want to thank all those who joined us. I forgot. He's so shy. Come on, man. All right, we're going to have to let him talk now. He's a good man. He is always there when you need him, especially for Metro East, Southwestern Illinois, and that's our state senator, who is the majority leader in the Illinois Senate. He makes sure these bills, these important bills, get to the top of the list and get passed, and that's Jim Claiborne. So, Jim, you can't be hiding behind everybody. You got to come forward and say a few words, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Well, indeed, a pleasure to be here this morning and this afternoon. And Governor, we truly appreciate you. You know, I've worked with the governor even back when he was lieutenant governor, and he's always had vision and he's always been committed to the entire state and understands. Obviously, he continues to talk about how he lived in East St. Louis, so he understands the needs in Southwestern Illinois, and he's always been one who I can count on and talk to him about different issues that affect this area, and he always comes forward. So, Governor, we appreciate you being here. We know this is very important to our military families, as you said, who volunteer, and we want to make sure that their transition to our area or anywhere else, but particularly to our area, is one that's meaningful for them, that their families and loved ones believe that they have an opportunity to succeed here and be a part of this community while they're here. So I want to thank you all for all you all do. Thank you, and thanks for coming.
Yeah,
Governor.
thank you, Jim. I just want to say, you know, we've passed the Military Compact. We've passed the Military Family Relief Trust Fund, a very important law that protects livelihoods of our reservists and guard members called to active duty. We passed Veterans Cash, which provides resources for helping those with post-traumatic stress, as well as our veterans who may be homeless. 1/3 of the homeless of Illinois are veterans, and I think it's important to understand that each and every step of the way, Jim Claiborne was there to get the bill passed into law. So I really feel it's very important we acknowledge your hard work over and over again. Since I've been Lieutenant Governor and Sheila's been Lieutenant Governor, you really are our Rock of Gibraltar. So
Thank you. Thank you, Governor.
we'll now go over here and get ready to sign the bill. Let's get everybody close, and we'll take it from there. Okay. All right. This is now the law. Okay.